Hi everyone, welcome. Today might be like a little bit smaller gathering because I don't know how many people saw the fact that we're doing it on Friday, but I wanted to do it on Friday today and 2 weeks from now, just because there are some people in Australia that otherwise could never join, or New Zealand, or some people who work on weekdays and cannot join us. So hopefully, it accommodates some people who cannot join otherwise. Is there anybody from Australia with us today, or New Zealand? Just write in the comments, where are you joining from? Oh, we have Sydney. Welcome. New Zealand, lovely. Ohio. Australia, yeah, great. I'm so glad you guys could join us. Well, welcome. Let's start. So today, because we are a smaller crowd, I thought besides talking about like all the clues and all that things, we can use this as an opportunity to get to know each other a little bit better. I can answer your questions, so I can ask you questions. So it's going to be sort of like the Humans of Westknits of last year, if you watched it, where I did these mini interviews with everyone about their colors and their experience and how many Westknit shawls you've knitted, that kind of thing. So I thought today we can try to do something like that. So does anyone want to share your story? Like, is that your very first Stephen West MKAL, or have you done a few of those? Andrew, would you like to unmute yourself?
First, I'm going to say this year is my third MCAL. This is my shawlography from 2 years ago. And first off, thank you for having a later meeting. I worked during the other ones and I took the fifth off of work. I have all the yarns to knit all of his past MCALs. And if I'm not doing my math wrong, I think I've done about 30 of Stephen's patterns.
Oh. And
So,
I liked what you mentioned during last time, that you tried to do different colors for different shawls, right?
yes.
So how different is this year's color-wise for you from the previous years?
This is my shawlography. Can see the colors I did. This is all Madeline Tosh, except for the brown, which is a different yarn. This is my twists and turns from last year. And I did those colors. Here's my colors from this year. And then I've gone back and started to do some of the past ones. So this is my Rockefeller.
Beautiful.
And then we have my color craving. Um, Here I can show this part so you can see the pink better. But and then here is my exploration station.
I love those colors. How did you approach it? What was your inspiration for this year?
Honestly, I had a fiber fair coming up. It was called Yarn Over. It's in Plymouth, Minnesota. Because I live in St. Paul. And this was my first year going, but this one dyer vends at all four of the fiber fairs I go to each year. And so I already knew which yarns they wanted to use since I saw them back in June at a different fiber fair. But then Stephen released that it needs to be a 4-color gradient. And that yarn I wanted to use doesn't come in very many colors. And so I then knew that that yarn wouldn't be a good fit for this year's MCAL. And so the day that the kit video was released, not the kit launch day, just the kit video release, I went stash diving and found these colors right away. So this is all from stash.
Right. Did
Um,
you take a look at the second clue yet?
I did, and that's part of why I came on the meeting, and because I was going to ask some opinions of some people. So I'm torn between like 4 different ways of approaching clue 2. And either, so I did Steven's alternate version.
Right.
And so I'm trying to figure out if I should start clue 2 with color A, start clue 2 with color C, or rip back part of clue 1 and make it so that it ends with color D. And two ways I could do that: I could either rip back the last 6 stripes and then somehow change the size of the stripes, or rip back the last 2 stripes and do like half of each stripe as one color.
Can I show you a little corner of mine? It's not going to be complete spoiler.
Oh yeah, I looked at the clue, so I saw your photo on Facebook.
Okay. So
yeah,
I don't think
because
it's like it looks bad when it's A,
right,
B, A, B. Like I don't think
yeah,
it's
and
gonna
you
be
and your photo was the first time I saw it with AB, and before that I was pondering if it would look good, but I saw yours and I actually quite like it. So
well, let's ask
I'm
other people's opinion about that. Did anybody
yes,
else start
and because I
to
mean I'm very adamantly I don't look at the spoilers. I had to this year. I couldn't not. So
did anybody started working on Clue 2 yet? Jen, do you want to unmute yourself?
Hello, Irina. I'm Jan, and
Welcome.
I'm in Sydney. This is my first MKAL,
Welcome.
and I have done what Andrew's done,
Mhm.
and my last stripe was color B, and then of course went on to color A, and I just continued what Stephen said,
Right.
and it's actually looking quite nice. I'm originally from South Africa, and one of the ladies has a group in South Africa that she's allowed me to join. And she did a really nice variation where she used the 4 colors as the sort of reverse stocking stitch.
Mhm.
And she introduced a new color into the little eyelet holes.
Was that Sita?
Yes.
Sita Lagros?
Yes. Did you see hers?
Yeah, I did. It was beautiful.
I thought that was really, really nice, introducing that new color, but I've just left it as because it's my first one, I just decided to follow Stephen's recommendations. Yeah.
Well, what made you decide to join the knit along this year?
I was in Europe in May, June, and July, and I've always been a sock knitter. And I'd taken a couple of balls of yarn with me, but I had finished what I had, and I was in the south of Holland, and I was just searching the net, and I was looking for yarn stores near me, and Stephen and Penelope came up, and I knew I was going to go into Amsterdam.
Right.
And so I said to my husband, that's where we're going. And I landed up going into his store, getting some more yarn, getting his sock patterns, and carried on knitting for the rest of the time that I was in Europe. And so I've been following him, and then I saw, and I've never done a big shawl before. So I thought, well, I'll dive in and give it a go.
That's so wonderful. I'm so glad you joined my Zoom also, because this is a great community to discuss all the issues and all the ideas and, get some help if needed. So I'm glad you joined
Yes.
us.
I was so glad I found you. It was just by doing some searching that I saw your video with the pivot and the frogging.
Right.
And it was just wonderful to see such an inclusive, supporting community out there, because I have some crafty friends, but none of them are knitters. So it's really nice to meet a world of talented people.
I'm so glad you could join us today. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. And Andrew, I love your shawls. They're amazing. Really, really beautiful.
thank you.
Does anybody else want to share your feelings about the second clue? Like, did you start the second clue, or are you working still on the first one?
Hi.
Hi.
I feel a bit like a cheat saying that I've started the second clue. I'm on the first row. Oh, I should
You totally
suggest
started.
spoiler alert. So I did the first clue as with lots of eyelets and some reverse stocking stitch and some stocking stitch rows. I have an end in the middle to weave in, but I as soon as I saw Stephen's video last Saturday morning, our time, New Zealand time, I thought I have to change change direction, and I started again with the central cast on and didn't like it, so I put it aside, had to go out, took the parts that I was already working on with me and carried on. I was only finishing the first triangle at the end of that day, and when I got back home I thought, no, I need to go in a different direction. I'd drawn lots of pictures, and before I found out that there was a diagram you could color in online, I'd written my own.
Is that your first time joining the MKAL, or have you done previous ones?
I've done 2 previously. Shawlography, unfortunately, has vanished this year. Was always kept in the boot of my car through the summer, and I'm hoping that it will reappear. And last year I decided partway through that I was turning it into a cardigan. So the Shawlog, can't remember what it was called last year, twists and turns.
Yeah.
So I've got the, if I can, I'll pull it out from its hiding place at the moment, but I've done the central panel. It's going to be the back from the armholes down, and then the second section will be the bodice, the lower part, and then I'm doing a short row bodice. I haven't decided. It sort of got put aside through our winter time because I had other things that I needed to do, but that will reappear at some stage in the future and get finished.
As Martin says, it'll get done.
It will get done eventually. Yes, it will. It will. Yep. So I loved follow along with you guys last year. And yeah, that was so much fun. So I thought, no, I'm going to join and follow you both, and have been following you both at least for 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad you did.
Thank you.
Nancy, could you please unmute yourself?
Yeah, yes. Hi, everybody. I've been sick with a sore throat, so I sound even more, my voice sounds even more hoarse than usual. I have a deep voice. Hi, everyone. I'm Nancy from Deep South Texas on the US-Mexico border. It's really hot down here, but we knit and we do crochet. And it's my 3rd year participating in the MKAL. The first year I did, obviously 3 years ago, it was well, not obviously, it was a shawlography. I don't have it, but I do have a photo. I gave it away to my niece.
I love that.
And thank you. And after that, I thought, oh my God, I'm never giving away my MKAL shawls anymore. Because I'm one of those that I'll knit and I give away most of my stuff. And so I said, after giving that one away and doing twists and turns last year, which is right here, I'd already shown it in a previous Zoom, but I'll show it.
We have some new people, so I'm sure.
Okay, I'll show it again just in case. And this is my twists and turns.
I love those tassels.
Thank you. So yes, and then obviously this year, can we show spoilers? Like, I'm not done with Clue 2 yet.
If you guys don't want to see the spoilers, then you can just knit along and listen and don't look. So there are going to be spoilers throughout. So just like keep it in mind, right?
I'm almost done with the first part, one of the sides.
Those pictures.
And I'm really enjoying it.
These are not my as well. Like we talked on Instagram about it. Like
yes,
that it was like so relaxing, and it's not boring because they change, the colors change and the rows change. So it's like you have to sort of be on your toes, but it's also relaxing knit.
It is. I'm enjoying it, and it's going pretty fast. Even though since I was sick today, I went to the doctor and then I spent a lot of time resting. And so I really haven't made too much progress, but I mean, I'm pretty confident I'll have it. Nothing comes up. I'll have it finished by next Thursday, ready for Clue 3. And since this is a different group, I had done 4 mitered squares for my Clue 1 is what I did.
Yeah. Did she like? Are you usually a monogamous knitter, or do you usually have like a bunch of projects on your needles?
I have a few projects, but I'm kind of like, I have some on the going in the background. Like I'll always have socks going, but I have some projects, like I have a few sweaters going, but I tend to, once I start one project, I tend to focus on it.
Right.
Like I want to finish it. I may have other projects going in the background, but I want to finish that project. I wanted to say my very first Stephen West pattern that I ever knit at all, I think was in 2016, and it was this one. And it seems so tiny now compared to his shawls.
Right? Like his shawls definitely grew. I think they become
Yes.
bigger.
This is the Meta Loose. It's a free one of his early designs that's available for free on Ravelry via Knitty.
Yeah.
And it's a real cute little, I like it. It's got some
beautiful.
slip stitches. You
Yeah.
use you can use either a self-striping or some sort of gradient and then a solid.
That's
And
really
I don't know, I enjoyed it. I recommend it. It's a fun little shawl.
Thank you.
And then at DFW Fiber Fest last year, since I'm in Texas, although it is a long way for me, we usually have to fly to get there. I bought this book.
Yeah.
And so anything that's in here that's part of his previous MKALs, I've added to my queue. So there are several in here that are part of, were originally mysteries. And so I've added them to my queue. And so I'm planning to go back and knit those. And to Andrew, hey, Andrew, I wanted to say I didn't realize you had a YouTube channel. I stumbled on your channel last night and I subscribed.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Andrew,
So anyway,
can you put it in the comments, the name of your channel or the link to your channel so people can check it
Yeah,
out?
I can do that.
Thank you.
anyway, Rena, thank you.
Nancy. Deborah, do you
You're
want to
welcome.
unmute yourself?
Hi, everybody. I'm from Sydney. So hi to all my fellow Australians and Kiwis across the ditch. This is my second Stephen West MKAL. I did do twists and turns last year. So you
Beautiful.
can see a bit of that there. And I'm just finishing clue 1 today. So I'm following Miss Blaine's lovely variation. And I'm just, obviously it's all a bit scrunched up because it's on a circular,
Right.
but it's looking good.
Can you just
Good. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
tell your colors because it's hard to see with the light. What colors did you use?
It's sort of a cream, a pinky
it's
color,
purple.
a gray, and a darker purple.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
some certain light hits it different, so it's hard.
Yes, yes, yeah. Not great lighting where I am.
You're enjoying it, right, so far?
Yes, yes. And I actually, following all the controversy over the first clue, I feel it's been very liberating for a lot of the participants in a way, because in previous MKALs we might have, within obviously choosing your own yarns and colours, but otherwise fairly closely following Stephen's pattern. Whereas in this occasion, it seems like everybody feels like they've got much more, within limits, flexibility and freedom to do their own thing, which I think's been really great and interesting.
I'm actually like very curious to see the final variations of shawls. It's going to be really interesting.
Yeah,
I see some like very cool designs out there.
Yeah, but thanks very much, Irina, for making this possible.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Tanya, would you like to unmute yourself?
Hi.
Hi.
I was trying to think of because I had made that metal house before. I really like it. It's a fun one. I like it. So my husband steals all my knitting, and I was trying to see if I had one of the ones around here. But the only one that I found was my first MKAL from last year, the twists and turns. And I had been out of work, and so I didn't have anything really suitable, so I just used what I got, and mine is crazy, dude. But
I love that. It's actually really.
Yeah, and
show the bottom.
Oh, I'm trying. I can't tell. Can you see it?
Yeah, beautiful.
Gorgeous.
So, but he has some of my test knits. That's the only one I could find.
So how are you liking have you started the second clue?
No, because I decided at the last minute last night after I had nearly finished the first clue that, oh, why not add some mohair too? So I ordered some, and I'm just going to wait till I get here. I have a test knit that I've got to make some roll work on, so that'll give me a good excuse to
Are you planning
do
to
that.
add more hair to all the colors or some of the colors?
I think I'm going to use it by itself. So,
Oh, interesting. Like, I didn't think of that, but that's going to be
yeah.
interesting texturally.
Well,
I-
and here's the other thing, because my center, the way I did it, it's not going to match the rest of the shawl anyway, so I'm throwing caution to the wind.
Well, I mean, that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah.
I actually went nuts as well because I decided to, first I decided to add sparkle, and I don't know if you
Oh, I
guys
like
see
that.
how sparkle, I mean, that's like insanely sparkly.
Right.
And then I decided, so I have light gray and dark gray and light green and turquoise. So I decided to add more hair to the lighter gray. Then I decided to add this more hair with sparkle to the darker gray.
Right.
And then I was like, well, the greens also deserve some sparkle. So I went nuts with like all different sparkles. So there is like some, there is a gold sparkle, there is a bronze sparkle. So it's like you might see some different interesting sparkles in that shawl.
Oh, look.
It's actually like at nighttime. It's like a Christmas tree. It's really like sparkles.
Or a disco ball at the club.
Oh yeah, that's too.
But I finished mine just barely this morning, and I guess
I
when it all
love that center.
I'll like turn it sideways and then it'll go out from there. I don't know what I'll do.
I think you'll be surprised how amazing it's gonna look with the second clue, because of that the second clue has the chevrons in it, so it's gonna actually
Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I was thinking too.
yeah, no, that's beautiful. So like when you usually knit, do you always have a lot of projects on your needles?
Honey, last year at the beginning of the year, I decided, okay, I'm going to finish some things because I had over 100 whips like stashed in a drawer in a bag that we moved 10 years ago. I mean, it's been all over the place. So
I'm always stressed on behalf of Martin when I hear about his whips, but you make it like all put it in perspective. So,
but last year I made an effort, and every Sunday I would stack them up on my front porch and I would take a picture. This is what I finished this week, and I got down. Now I started a whole bunch of stuff last year too. So, but I'm down to like 40 something. I mean, it's not too bad.
That sounds very reasonable suddenly.
Yeah.
So what did you think about his approach to whips? Because he came up with this whole new system of like working on each whip for 12 hours or something, and before moving to the next whip. Like, would that stress you, or would that make it more like planned for you?
Here's the thing. Whenever you tell me this is what you need to do, I'm going to do the other thing. So, but I'm one of these. So I've gotten on that. I don't know if you've heard about it, that yarn pond for test knitting. I love it. I love it. And there was a time, I think this summer, where I was like up to maybe 9 test knits.
Right.
And I mean, it helps you keep it organized, and like, you know, there's different due dates and everything, but I've never missed a due date, and I don't mind having that many things on the needle. So who cares?
Well, if you guys are interested in test knitting, I have a group on Facebook with a friend of mine. It's called Knitters Gonna Knit. And they have a lot of designers who post test calls there. So if you want to join, and if you're a designer, you can post test calls there, or you can promote your patterns. So it's the reason for that group was that we wanted to have a platform where people could promote their knitting related businesses. So if you have a knitting related business, if you're a yarn dyer or something, or a designer, or if you just want to find those test knitting opportunities, please join the group. Julia, would you like to unmute yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Julia from Brisbane, formerly of New Zealand. So hi, Joanne. Firstly, can I just say, Irina, thank you so much for doing something in our time zone. Really great to be able to meet with people from this side of the world. I am madly still working on clue 1. I only started it yesterday, so I needed to make some headway on that. I'm a bit of an MKAL fail. I've tried 2 MKALs and finished none. So I'm going to try and get this one finished. I've stuck to the Stephen's plan and done the center out square just with, you know, the increases in each corner. I'm using all Australian or locally dyed yarn because I importing yarn and dyed yarn into Australia is kind of ridiculous because Australia and New Zealand has so much yarn. Like, why would we do that? So I just use local dyers. So I'm using, I'll do my best to show this. Can't do it. This is a navy. It looks like black, but it's actually a navy. This is from Ash and Eve. This is her witching hour. And the others are from Natural Fiber Arts. There's a grey that she calls charcoal. There's an awesome reddish colour. They all look black on camera, but this is like a reddish colour called black plum. And it looks exactly like black plums. So anyone that eats black plums from locally grown black plums, that's exactly this colour. And then I have one variegated colour that is an unnamed colour. This was, we had a Fiber Arts Festival recently on the Sunshine Coast, and the dyer from Natural Fiber Arts, her children wanted to go to some theme parks and they dyed a bunch of wool really randomly to raise money to be able to pay for their theme park tickets. So this is one of those random variegated, you know, nonsense colors that is great, but goes with all the others. So I've thrown that in and I'm just working out from the center. I've gone through all my colors once, so that'll be it.
Can we see it?
Oh, you can, but my camera is really weird and the colors are really dark, so you can't really see anything, but I can post a photo of it. I post most of my stuff on Insta, and I can give people the link if they want to see this in more detail.
Tag me in the picture. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I will. So I can send a proper picture of that because it's too hard to see dark colors on my silly little camera.
Did you watch
yeah, I did.
Did you watch it like straight to the back, or like did you watch the whole hour like minute by minute?
No, I watched it all. I watch everything. This is I walk a lot and I watch these kinds of videos while I'm walking. I walk in net and watch videos all at the same time because I like to fall over a lot. No. I'm the sort of person that will trip because I'm knitting, watching YouTube, listening to YouTube and walking all at once. But that's just me. I've done quite a bit of Stephen West stuff, but I've tended to stick to his. I do most of my knitting in cotton because this is Brisbane, it's hot as Hades and you can't wear wool a lot of the year. So if I do knit in wool, it tends to be a really light 4-ply silk blend thing that's very light, or I knit in cotton and nettle yarns. So I've done a few of his shawls and loved them, but no MKAL shawls have been finished because I'm not good at that. This will hopefully be my first one that I actually finish.
Oh, they're gonna keep you accountable.
Yeah. I am a bit of a multi-project person.
Do you have more than 100 or less than 100 whips? That's all.
Oh no, less. Only because I frog a lot, so I will just rip it. I start so many things and then go, no, I don't like it, and I will just rip it straight away and put it back in the bag and say that's going to be something else. But generally I start about about 30 major projects a year, and I finish about 15 of them. So of big pieces,
Right.
and then socks in between. Yeah, so at the moment I'm working on the singlet top parachute, which is one of his designs from Westknits book, and a mild magic. I've knitted his Pierre shawl about 3 times because I love it and I keep using it in all different colors. It works so well with any grade of yarn, any colors. It just is brilliant. So I knit
I
that
actually
all the
knitted
time.
that shawl for a friend of mine, and interesting story. She was the one who inspired me to start knitting, and she lives near Cranberry Bog. So I go every time I go there, we go for a walk around the Cranberry Bog, and we see the cranberries, like the Cranberry Bog in the winter with some cranberries on the snow, and then during the harvest. So I made her a Pierre shawl with all the colors of Cranberry Bog from like the winter through the seasons, and she absolutely That was actually in fingering weight, so I adjusted the pattern a little bit to make it larger, but
yeah. So I've done one Pierre shawl in all merino silk and yak fine yarns that were dyed locally, and then I've done one really heavy fluffy one using the outlaw yarns from New Zealand. They do a gothic range each year, and that made a beautiful big fluffy warm shawl for when I go home to New Zealand, so that's really great. But they've all come up completely different, even though I'm using the same pattern.
right.
So, but this pattern, I think, I'm loving this pattern, and I think I will make more than one of these because it looks like it's going to just spread out from the center quite nicely, which is a style that I want.
Let's discuss that. Give me your prediction where this shawl going in clue 3. Since you've seen how it's going to look after clue 2, what do you think is going to happen in clue 3?
I think it's going to go, I'm predicting it's going to go long, and like a big, a very wide hexagon, I think is the shape that he might end up with. But maybe he's going to try and turn that very elongated hexagon into I'm wondering if it's going to end up being a crescent shape through clue 3 and 4, just getting thinner and thinner, which would actually turn a square into a crescent if you just kept growing it out on the top edge. So I don't know, but I'm really excited to see what he does because he has such a good eye for design and can imagine up the most amazing things. So yeah, I'm really excited to see where this one lands.
Me too. Well, thank you for joining us today. Joy, would you like to unmute yourself?
Hi, Irina. Hi, everyone. So I debated so many times what I would do. So I ended up with this. Oops.
Beautiful. So you crocheted,
right? I crocheted. So I was a crocheter first. So during the pandemic, I taught myself how to knit. And then my first Stephen West was the Boneyard shawl. And then I did his MKAL. The showlography was the first one. And these are my colors.
Yeah, hold it in front of you because otherwise you could bring just the back.
Yeah. Oops, that's the back. But in any case, I inserted crochet as well in this one. So my border, I did not end up with those stripes. I still have some lace inserted. So that was crocheted. And I'm working on the hibernate along and haven't finished this one. The showlography took me over a year to complete because I'm a new knitter. And I'm still working on the hibernate along. It's the Aurora cabin. I have it right here.
I love those.
So these are the colors.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I still have about 3 sections to go.
Well, do you have a prediction of what's going to happen in clue 3?
I want to be surprised. I'm not even thinking about it. I want to be surprised. I don't know what goes on in his head. and it's always a surprise. I mean, I tried last year to do the twists and turns, but I'm a slow knitter. I was embracing my pace. That's to put it nicely. So by the time that everybody finished, I'm still working on clue one. And
Well,
then
do
I
you
said,
think you're gonna continue with crochet for this show, or do you think you're gonna switch to knitting and glue
Mm,
too?
that's what I'm thinking, because I'm at the point where I can switch to knitting because I can do the 8 stripes, the 8 rows per stripe, and then end up with the 85
Yeah.
stitches. So I'm at that point. But then when I saw clue 2 and I fast forwarded, I cannot wait to see how it's going to look like. So I figured, since I already decided to put my own eyelets, I wondered if I can just continue and do it until I reach the number of stitches. But then I worry about the size because it's quite small
Yeah, it's
and dense. So I have to figure out. I'll
uh,
I'll
Tanya
work
is
something out.
asking if your background is something you created, you made.
Yes, it does. It is. It's Helen Shrimpton, back in 2016, and it's not done yet. So I have as many whips as uh, as Tanya has. So I have this one is it covers the size of a queen size bed already, but I have several sections to go, maybe 4 more to go.
It's beautiful.
Wow.
Thank you.
Well, I want
And
to ask everyone to please, like, if you on social media, if you on Instagram or in TikTok, tag me in your posts. I would love to see the progress on your shawls. And usually, Martin, I'm sure, also likes seeing your posts. So just tag us in your posts and let us know
okay.
how your progress goes, because I'll be interested to see like what's gonna happen with your square. Thanks so much, Joy.
Thank you.
Marley, do you want to unmute yourself?
Yeah, hi. I don't know how to get my face on this thing, so excuse me for that. I just have a question.
Sure.
I have tried, I'm a new knitter. I'm scared to death to do a Stephen West shawl. However, I bought the last 3 kits from the last 3 shawls, and they're still sitting in their boxes. But and this one I feel like I can do now that we changed the clue. I was afraid of the first one. But my question is, I want to change one of the colors, but I don't want to order another one from him because it will take too long to get here.
Right.
And the one that I bought was the flamingo, and it says that it's 100% South American merino wool fingering. Can I buy any other skein of fingering yarn, or does it have to be the same kind like this?
You can
South
just
American.
add any skein of fingering yarn as long as it's the same thickness. It does not have to be like same exact. Like I'm using 2 of my yarns as singles and 2 of my yarns are 4-ply. So you can use like whatever fingering weight yarn you have, and it's just gonna, it can be like a little bit different texture, but that's part of the beauty of those shawls.
Oh, okay. And it doesn't have to be wool?
I mean, it's probably better if it's similar fiber.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Andrew, do you want to unmute yourself?
Yeah, so I was just going to say my color craving. The peach here is a MCN fingering, the pink is a merino nylon, and the blue has some alpaca. So yeah, you can totally combine different elements to your shawl that aren't all the same.
Does anyone want to give me some prediction on what do you think is going to happen in the next clue?
It's going to scare me. I know that.
Why?
Because I've seen all the shawls that he had, and like I say, I'm fairly new, and I don't want to. I know this is going to sound stupid to everybody, but I'm spending so much money on the kits and the yarn that I don't want to like really screw it up. I want to do
I
it
don't
right.
think you can screw it up because Stephen put such detailed videos of every step of the way, and you can watch and rewatch that video. And there is also a huge community on Ravelry, or if anything, you can just email me, I'll help. We'll do one-on-one Zoom and I'll help you out to figure it out. So
Oh,
feel free to
okay.
do
Thank
that.
you.
It's fiberchats@gmail.com. If anybody has like an issue and you need some help, I'm more than happy to.
I watch all your stuff, so I know where to find you and Marky.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Joanne, do you wanna unmute yourself?
Yes, I would like to think that section 3 or clue 3 will be some brioche to maybe bring in a curve at the bottom of the, like we've got our square on point in the middle and our bits going out. Would be nice to have some brioche coming in to bring in a curve at the bottom. I'm not quite sure about the top, but I can imagine if there was brioche at the top, then you could wear it like a collar as well. And then clue 4 will be a complete mystery.
And
So
Joy,
every time
Joy just wrote no with like 7 exclamation marks.
Yeah, exactly. But I found a picture of my shawlography. I don't know whether I'll be able to show it.
That's beautiful.
I did a pear shawl border on it because I didn't like the border that he had.
Yeah.
I modify a lot of the things that I knit to my own style, and this is my twists and turns cardigan.
Beautiful.
So far. So the yoke has started, but yeah, that will be another thing to finish. But every time I've come up with a prediction of where Stephen's going, it's been completely wrong. So
same, you know what, every time I try to predict what's going to happen, something completely opposite happen, like guaranteed. So I want to know your opinions and not mine. Julia, would you like to unmute yourself?
I just wanted to say, Joanne, I am so impressed that you can turn that twists and turns into a cardigan. It's crazy that you can do that, and I'd love to know how you're doing it. And my other thing was just the lady that was a bit nervous about starting a Stephen West shawl. It's just knits and pearls, and they're always more, they look more complicated than they actually are. Once you start them, I thought they would be so hard, and they're really not. He gives such clear instructions. If you can knit and you can purl, and make an increase, you can do a Stephen West anything, because there's nothing really that magic. Like the magic is in how he imagines shape and color, and how he puts the different shapes together. It's not a complicated knit. I haven't found any of his stuff to be particularly complicated knitting. They look white. I was really nervous to knit any of his stuff because I thought, oh, that looks way too hard for me. His videos are so clear, his instructions are so clear, and just give it a go. It's amazing how quickly they grow and how easy they actually are. They look way harder than they actually are. So I would encourage you to just open one of those boxes and cast on. Go for it.
Well, Julia, let me ask you one thing. So yesterday I was at my local yarn store for the knit night, and one of the ladies, who is very seasoned knitter, was having immense trouble with the cast on and the first few rows, and somehow she couldn't get the tension quite right, and she was like getting frustrated. Did you find that easy?
No, this is probably one of the most difficult starts that I've done out of all of his stuff. But in saying that, even if you get the center, you have to do the center a few times to get it right, and you have to watch the video a few times. It's still just the tiny center. And once you've got that tiny center done, you've got all the joy of the rest of it. So even if you have to spend 5 or 6 goes getting that center right,
right,
it's still only a small part of the overall project.
I actually find the center, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it reminds me, this exact part, it reminds me of a little flower, and I'm almost tempted to crochet over it a little flower and see if that's gonna,
Yes.
something like, it makes me very happy to look at that little belly button of that shawl.
Yeah, and I think mine had, my center wasn't neat. It had a bit of a sloppy hole in the middle of it. But I just had the yarn tail there that I could just zhoosh that up. And so I just ran a running stitch around the center and gave it a pull, and it was done. Like, you just pull it in. I've seen a lot of people have crocheted the ring in the middle and then built out from there, because that's, some people find that really an easier way to start a center out circle is to crochet that first round, and then pick up the crochet loops to form your stitches. I've seen that done quite a bit, and the previous circle center out squares that I've done, I have crocheted the center.
I don't know, I'm not even a crocheter, but somehow I'm very tempted to, like, just asking me, like, I looked at that spot and I always see a flower, so it's almost like asking me to put it there.
So mine was sloppy, but I just zhushed it in with a tug of, whipped some yarn through it and gave it a pull, and it closed.
Well, thank you. Danny, do you want to unmute?
Hi, I was just going to echo exactly what Julie was saying, just to offer some encouragement to Marley, because last year was my very first Stephen West knit also. And before this, I knew how to knit and purl. Like, my only knit projects were scarves, just because you can knit and purl back and forth to practice your stitches. But look, this is my twists and turns, and it's like, it's it happened, and for me, what I found is I think I stumbled on where Stephen West did his the MKAL is coming up and it's called Twist and Turns, and it was his introductory video, and he's like, don't worry, all you need to know how to do is knit and purl. And he's like, it increase and decrease. And at the moment, I remember thinking, well, I don't know how to increase or decrease yet, but I know how to knit and purl, so I'm just going to do this. And I hadn't really seen anything else, but I thought it was like a cool, like, okay, there's going to be a community and everything. And then I very distinctly remember watching the first clue when it came out and thinking, oh my, what is this? But I found that you can take YouTube videos and you can change the speed. So I just I just sit up in front of my computer, as big a video as I could, slowing down the speed, and I only finished in August, but I finished. So it feels a little scary, but you got it, and the community is great. And I just say, just dive into one of them.
And you know what? Last year's show, I feel like, was so much more difficult than the beginning of this show. The first clue last year, first of all, it was super long. It took a long time, like, even with intense knitting, it was a lot of knitting, and it was like intricate. This shawl is really, so far, is a relaxing knit. So I would, like, if I were to try an MKAL, this one is like perfect to start. Nancy, would you like to unmute yourself?
Sure. I just wanted to echo everyone else's comments and encouragement. Or is it Marina or Marlene? Marlene. Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes, enjoy that beautiful yarn. I mean, play with it. You can always frog. That gives you more time to play with it, And yeah, also what Danny was saying, I mean, Stephen provides us so much support. It's amazing. And then for the initial, the revised clue 1, I didn't do that one. But if anybody's made the ever popular muscle bra, it has the similar start. And I did the crochet one because I too, like, is it Joy was also a crocheter first. And I love combining the two. So I love what Joy did with her shawl, that she added to her shawlography, added crochet. I love when the two crafts are combined in one project. Yeah, that it's easy with you do the crochet hooks method, and Very Pink has a very good tutorial on how to do that. And so it makes it easier. And always with anything tiny like that, it's going to be fiddly. You're going to struggle. That's the nature of it, right? But once you get beyond that initial setup row or two, it gets easier as it grows.
Right. And then he said, I already have frogged it like 4 times. You know, I did too. I mean, for different reasons. This one is like this belly button place was giving me a little bit of a hard time. So I restarted it 2 times, I think. But you know, eventually you get it. And whenever you learn new technique, it's usually like this. So when I first was learning brioche, mind you, I only knitted like 5 months prior to that. And I decided, I saw this brioche scarf and I thought it was a great idea to make it for a friend of mine for his birthday that was like 3 weeks away. So in I jumped and I started knitting it. And every single time I would make mistake, I wouldn't know how to fix it. So I had to frog it first like a few rows, and then it got to the point when I was like 2/3 done with the scarf and I still had to frog the whole thing. So it took me 18 tries until Brioche and I became really good friends. So just, you know, it's just a try. You just, even if it doesn't work immediately, you just try for the 5th time and then it's gonna work. Andrew, do you want to unmute?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask if anyone has seen Steven's reel he posted to Instagram of him making a granny square.
Oh, I didn't.
No.
Yeah, Steven posted a reel of him crocheting, which was kind of cool because he was inspired by all the crochet beginnings of the shawl.
Right. Oh, interesting. I'll check that out.
So I guess I'm trying to figure out now. I guess I just got to figure out where I'm going with this because I still haven't fully decided, but I'm leaning more and more towards the idea of just starting Clue 2 with color A after seeing your version, Irina. I mean, because I needed to see how that looked first. Because I think it was kind of deceiving that Steven showed someone else's version in the video.
Right. I think you're gonna like it. It sort of makes sense. Like it goes like it pops this center square. I mean, is it okay with you if I'll show it because you are the guy who does?
Yeah, because this year I'm just gonna look at the shawls, the clues, because you kind of have
this is
to.
mine, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like when you go from like AB here, it just pops this center square out more. Like it separates the sections more, in my view.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Deborah, do you want to unmute?
Yeah, I was thinking Sitagiri in her version where she had the eyelets as well. She had the marled or striped garter stitch bands. So putting 2 of your colors together in that sort of stripe might give it a little bit more contrast if that's what you're looking for, Andrew. I don't know. Just a thought.
Right. And I actually added, I'm sure in this light you guys cannot see, but this turquoise and that turquoise are 2 different turquoises. One is darker, one is lighter. And the reason for that was because when I started my shawl, I started with the original clue, got halfway done, then the whole controversy broke down and I couldn't continue with that. So I decided to do the alternative square, and I finished the alternative square with, and then I decided that after I saw Steven's video, I was like, I just have to support this guy. So I restarted again, and I was a little worried that I'm not gonna have enough of the turquoise. So I have extra skein of this light color, and grays I feel like easy enough to match because I have so many different leftover grays. So I wasn't worried about that, but I didn't know if I'm gonna have enough of this dark turquoise. So I just added like 2 lighter stripes. I mean, it's hard to tell, but like this one is darker and these 2 are lighter ones. So it's like you can play with it. Like you can just choose another color from the same family or add, like I saw Dorothy on last meeting, she was showing, she was going all gray. So she did like 4 shades of gray and then she just added this like bright yellow. chartreuse kind of pop color. So you can add another color also to like separate it. But I think it's actually like separates the center from the second clue when you do this to like light repeats. I don't know. You can also just take a piece of paper and some crayons and play with it and see what you like on paper and then decide that way. Like that's easy enough.
Okay, and then one more question. Is that the knit and slide shawl behind you?
Yes. That border almost killed me, I remember, because it's like picot border, and it was that took forever and a half. It was like something 700 stitches at the end, and it was all picot border, so that took a while. But I love that shawl. It's like it's
Yeah, it was kind of funny because he made a little tutorial for that border on his YouTube channel, and he was actually sitting at one of my LYSs when he filmed it.
Yeah, I love knitting it. It's beautiful. I want to thank all of you. So there is another Friday meeting that's going to happen 2 weeks from now. I believe it's going to be the 27th. So 28th for Australians and New Zealanders at the same time. And you can use the same exact Zoom ID and the same passcode to enter that Zoom as well. And we also have every Saturday and Wednesday, except for next Saturday is the only one that I'm not this coming one, not tomorrow, but like the next week.
21st.
Yeah, 21st. Like I'm gonna be away at Rhinebeck, and if any of you gonna be at Rhinebeck, please stop me if you see me and say hello. I would love to meet you in person.
I'm going. I'm going.
I'm gonna be on the podcast The Hill at 12 p.m. On Saturday also. Like, so if you're there, just stop and say hello. I would love that. So any Wednesday or Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, or Friday the 28th, 27th at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I have under every Zoom that I post on my YouTube channel, there is complete schedule. I also have a Fiberchats group on Ravelry that like I put complete schedule there, and I put links to all of these Zooms so you can rewatch it. So feel free to join that group. And please tag me in your Instagram posts. I would love to see your progress, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Thanks a
Good
lot,
night.
Irina.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.